top two. Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Score podcast. Excited to be back in studio recording as always. What's going on, my man? How we doing up in the great state of New York? Because you know how much I love New York. You know how much I like to talk about New York. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, and I definitely do wait, one of Kenzie's things is here. But everything's good.
One of Kenzie's what's?
It's like this little ball pit. I don't know. Carrie let her come down. Oh,
You got to be careful. That could be a hazard. You take one roll back on your chair, and all of a sudden you're getting tangled up in that thing. It looks complicated. I don't want you falling through that.
We're fully ghetto down here. I'm on a folding chair on a I got one of those little cushions on my seat. I don't got it like you over there.
I like how you use fully ghetto. You're fully ghetto.
Well,
over
it
there.
is. Yeah, I can't even wheel around in my chair. I mean, I think I used to have the wheelchair, but I gave it to Carrie for her work, and then I just didn't feel like switching it every time.
The best for the wife at all the times, right?
Always, that's how we roll.
You'll take the folding chair. She gets the nice cushion chair that rolls around and can do everything.
But I feel like my chair is still more comfortable because I got one of those little like cushions on my chair. Like, it's for people who got like hemorrhoids or whatever, but I just got it because the seat needed something.
Hemorrhoids?
I'm not saying that was my fate. I'm just saying that's...
We're clarifying. We're just saying it's for a purpose, not necessarily the reason why it's being used currently in the wild residences. We'll end it on that note. This is just a comfortable cushion to have. Listen, we're lucky here at the Podcast Junkie. So when you do come down here, we got nice rolly chairs. We got 3 open seats here. We're ready for you to come down here. I know we got a thing going here, though. It's nice. I love the way that you're on that side and I'm on this side. It's like our thing.
Cool.
But Ben, we got to get him down here. All right.
I couldn't agree more, man. I'm waiting to see Josh. He needs to get down here.
It's been a while. It's been a while since you've been down to South Florida. You were just in Disney.
But I never met. I haven't.
Yes, you have. Remember the first time when we came there, we talked about it. We sat here.
I would not start until I met you.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yes, we did say.
Yes, it was a while ago. It was so long.
And it was like not that long. We didn't really like hang out.
No, we just sat and we really talked about what the process was going to be like to start this beautiful venture with the Podcast Junkies, and we talked about that. And that was the time you met.
Almost a year ago.
Because I came in a few months before that, and I was like, listen, I wanted to do this podcast with my buddy, but I want him to come down. His wife's pregnant, and once she, everything is settled down, he'll come down here. We'll do this whole thing, right? And that's when he came down here. But it's been a while. You were in Disney. That's a different part of Florida. This is the better part of Florida, and eventually he'll get down here, and we'll do something.
We just need a 48-hour swing where one day we record an episode, one day me, you, and Ben go to a game with Ben brings his camera and we make some content, and then I fly back. It could be very efficient. We got to do it, but
should we save that for like a football game or a baseball game? A baseball game would be fun. I think that'd be more doable.
It's not a one-time thing.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But how do we start it? Should we start it with a baseball thing since it's baseball season right now? Probably get tickets to the
What do you
Marlins.
guys think?
They probably pay us. Yeah, you guys let us know what you guys. But they probably pay us to go to a Marlins game at this point. You know what I'm talking about. So,
sure.
we sat like the third row when we went.
Any contributions from anyone will go directly towards Harry's beer budget. The more, if you give to the line that doesn't exist yet. It'll all go to just getting Harry more beer.
This guy knew to talk about my beard budget. I have to budget every month. Actually, every month my beard budget is $280. That is my beard budget.
I'd be very concerned if that.
Let me tell you something. The problem is though, I've been slacking I know you guys could probably tell I was a little scruffy of late, but that's because I was moving. I couldn't get to my guy, and so I wasn't able to really get my cuts.
Beer?
Well. He's my hair and my beard guy, but I go to him occasionally.
I said beer.
My beer guy. I don't got a beer guy. I got a beard.
No.
Beard.
Ben, did you know what I was talking about?
Beard.
I didn't know.
Are you talking about a beer fund?
I was talking about like when we go to the game, like the more like people put into the fun,
Oh,
the
the
more
beer.
alcohol we get.
Well, on
Oh.
that note, now we know that I have a beard fund because I do
You
spend
just
quite a bit
wasted
of
a minute
money.
of everyone's life.
I know, I guess I did, but anyways, we're gonna talk about
I
more
guess
of
it's not a
the.
waste because if they watch now, I guess they enjoy hanging out with us. So that's not a waste. That's
That's
just
true.
peeking behind the curtain a little
That's
bit of
true. That's true. Listen,
us talking about our
we're getting a little
opinions. Yeah,
personal here at times. We like to let you guys
we
know
like that.
what type of people you're hearing. We don't want you guys to just think these guys are some like Joe Schmoes laughing around here talking some nonsense. You guys got to know, us, and hopefully you guys
Yeah.
like us enough to stick around and listen to the rest of the stuff. We got some good stuff to get into today. The first thing is what everybody's kind of been buzzing about in the baseball world, which is kind of crazy that this is excuse me, so big of a topic, I guess, when it's been around for a couple of years. This isn't something new, but these so-called torpedo bats that the Yankees have been using primarily. We've seen Volpe use it and Jazz Chisholm use it, but it seems like a lot of the guys are using a different variation of it, and some people aren't so happy, but it seems like it's working wonders. And I think you have to give a lot of credit to the analytics department with the Yankees because, listen, at the end of the day, when you're not breaking the rules and you follow the path that MLB says your bat can be, and I believe can't be larger than 2.61 diameter around the bat for the largest part of the bat. And so that's the barrel. And so when you get that to be 2.61, wherever it is on the bat, what does it matter? Now, it's worked out pretty well so far. Other teams are going to start using it as well. Is it going to work? You're right, exactly. We've seen Ellie hit 2 home runs and had 7 RBIs recently using the torpedo bat. Nobody's talking about other teams using it, but because it's the Yankees, it's a story. I get it. It's fine. This is the Bronx. We're the evil empire. Everyone wants to talk about the Yankees. No problem. I don't mind being the bad guy. At the end of the day, when you're not breaking the rules, right, exactly. On top of the fact that you're not breaking the rules, fine. Now, there's another conversation to be had. The integrity of the game, right? You're changing the bat and you're making it not look like a bat anymore, and it's not what they did 100 years ago. Well, let me explain something to you. 100 years ago, these guys were using 40-ounce bats that were 38 inches long, and that was across the board. It doesn't matter if you were Babe Ruth or you were Honus Wagner. You were using basically the same long piece of wood. But now today in MLB, you see different variations of bats, right? Whether it's this torpedo style or you see, and I mentioned this to you earlier, when you got the hockey puck on the bottom of the bat to counteract the weight, right?
Yeah.
What about that? Nobody talks about that because it doesn't look like this big adjustment on top of the fact that it wasn't something the Yankees basically put out there. Now, you want to get mad at someone, get mad at Michael Kay for talking about it, right? Maybe that should have been a story. Maybe that should have been a story. You don't want to give it to the other teams, but at the end of the day, nobody's gonna. This is something that is so ridiculous that people are hating on. The Yankees came up with a brilliant way to be able to make their hitters better. You want to say, oh well, then they shouldn't be hitting in the MLB if they're not able to barrel up the bat. That just means they're getting beat. Well, you figure out ways, right? There's an analytics department for everything. And we've just said 4 different versions of bats that have been used throughout the history of baseball. This is just another one that you add in the line, It's not going to work for everybody.
When you look at it, I find it no different than giving the catcher more padding on their glove because it makes it like when you catch a pitch, it doesn't break your hand. Like I feel like there was a time, if you're comparing to 100 years ago, there was a time when they wouldn't wear gloves, and the rules said that because there's no glove or they didn't know the what they were capable of in making gloves, that the ball was allowed to bounce one time before you got out. Imagine that. That would be such a different game if that was allowed now with this ball, with the speeds it moves, and also using your bare hands. I don't know how many people would be signing up for that.
How many times has the MLB changed the baseball around?
A lot, and even without telling us, sometimes there's dead ball era and all that.
Right.
But it's such a non-issue that when you look at DraftKings home run props, they had a whole section of these guys have used the torpedo bat thus far, and it was like 15 guys, and maybe 3 of them were on the Yankees. So The Yankees get the heat because they're playing well. They've had one bad inning so far this year, and I think that when you
Thanks,
look at
Mark
the
Leiter
silver,
Jr.
yeah, we don't gotta talk about that. But when the what's it called? When you look at it, if you have data that says you hit this part of the bat 30% of the time when you hit, and we can put more wood there so that you can legally use this skill that you have, then it just makes for you to reach your potential. No one's all of a sudden becoming a 600 hitter, or I mean, it's a small sample size, but I don't think that I
Such
think
a
everyone
small
knew
sample size.
everyone knew Jazz had power. I mean, I don't know if you remember his first home run. I'm pretty sure was a 100-mile-an-hour fastball against DeGrom, sent it long, and then I'm pretty sure he's been hitting home runs ever since. And then I felt like things just went stale in Miami, and he didn't feel like himself. So
Injuries.
it was never really about his skill, that too. Then he came over here, he felt like himself, he felt the love, and he found it. I mean, in the playoffs, there were a bunch of guys who didn't do what they needed to do to get us through the World Series, but that's all right. We got time. And let me start my Extend Jazz campaign now, where I'm here for it. I want to see this guy retire in the pinstripes.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like you said, when you're putting more wood on the barrel of the bat, you're taking wood away from another part of the bat, the top of the bat. So guess what happens now? If you're hitting the ball off the top of the bat, you're in trouble, right? So if you're a hitter that needs to get off the top of the bat for full extension, go the other way, on these torpedo bats, it's going to be awfully difficult to be able to do that. So you're sacrificing a portion of it, but it's not really a sacrifice that's going to affect your game, because there's a reason you put the bat and the wood in the barrels, because that's your strength. You're not hitting the ball off the end of the bat. Luis Arise, this wouldn't work for him because he hits the ball off the top of the bat all the time. So this wouldn't be something that works for him. You know, he's not going to barrel up every single ball. And also, like you said, such a small sample size here. We played 4 games so far. And guess what? The Yankees are 3-1. They lost the game. So go focus on a team like the Dodgers. Nobody wants to talk about this team at all. I find it absolutely insane that people haven't focused their shift on a team in LA who has decided to put together a $600 million payroll. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 275, but they've deferred $300+ million over the next 30 years. Nobody talks about that. Is it legal? Sure, yes it is, but if you're going to talk about integrity of the game here, and you're thinking the Yankees are screwing with the integrity of the game, go look at the Los Angeles Dodgers and what they're doing. Because, yes, they can do it, and yes, they'll be able to afford it, and it won't be a problem, but when 75% of their roster is getting deferrals throughout the rest of after their contract expires, I mean, what are we doing here? Right? Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to talk about that. I think why can't the Yankees could do this too if they wanted to?
They haven't started talking about it because they haven't lost a game yet. Once the Dodgers lose a couple games, then people will say, "Oh, you're supposed to be 162-0 with that team," but they haven't lost a game yet. They're 7-0.
It's impossible to go 162-0. If this team wins 120 games, oh my God, that's going to be world-breaking records, right? It's going to be the most wins in regular season history. Nobody's going to talk about any of that, though, if they don't go win a World Series at the end of it all, right? I mean, the truth is this team is stacked to the backs. They have their payroll should be currently $450 million. Am I wrong? If they were paying everybody what they were actually earning. But because they've deferred everything on for so long to be able to go sign all these guys, nobody cares. Nobody cares that they've assembled. When the Miami Heat signed LeBron James and they had Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, they were the villains of the NBA because they assembled this big team. But the Dodgers have 24 out of their 26 roster spots are basically high-end players. What are we talking about here?
To be honest with you, I don't really care about them because they're whatever.
I don't care about them either. They're in the National League. We won't have to worry about them till the World Series. But what I'm saying is the slander that our franchise is getting when that franchise is doing 10 times worse. And we're talking about baseball bats here. Come on. Yeah. Come on, baseball fans. Shift your focus on something else here. Look at what these guys are doing. They have Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, all these guys, and nobody cares. They think it's good for baseball. This is not good for baseball, I'm sorry to tell you. You think the Oakland A's think this is good for baseball, what the LA Dodgers are doing? Absolutely not. Come on.
Then when the Yankees get Murakami next year, everyone's gonna be like, "You see, they're not getting all of them. We're just gonna be like, we got one. They'll probably get 3 more Japanese guys next year, and then they'll probably build a second stadium in Japan the year after with all the money they're saving."
At that point, you might as well. You'll have the Japan Dodgers, the Tokyo Dodgers at that point too.
Their AAA team will literally be
No. It'll be a new league. It'll be the quadruple A team. I don't know what else to say, but anyways, I don't want to talk about the Dodgers. It's about this is about these bats that have been put out there. Everyone's talking about these bats. At the end of the day, they've done nothing illegal. What they did was they hired a very smart analytics guy, mathematician, Aaron. What's his last name? Josh Aaron, like something, right?
I have no idea, honestly, but
Aaron.
shout out to him for his hard
You're
work.
the man. Go figure out some of these gloves now too, because the defense is pretty atrocious still.
But so Jazz said, "Okay, explain the barrel. Explanation: the barrel is bigger and within MLB regulation. For the idiots that say it's moved to the label, you're an idiot. Nobody is trying to get jammed. You just move the wood from the parts you don't use to the parts you do. You're welcome. No more stress for y'all." And then your boy Donovan Mitchell, known Mets fan, comes out and says, totally with laughing emojis, totally joking, says, "Nah, you should all be suspended for the whole year. You're cheating." And then obviously, like, it was lighthearted. Nobody seemed upset about it.
Listen, it'll blow over. This will be a story that in a month most people will forget about. But it just goes to show you that at the end of the day, in 2025, the Yankees are still the most hated team in baseball, maybe even in sports, and that's fine. And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You guys want to keep hating? That's totally fine. We have the best fan base. We truly do. The Yankee fans are the greatest in the United States when it comes to sports.
I have to say I'm super disappointed in the being down 2-0 in the World Series the way everyone was. Like, I feel like I feel like if I was on the other side of the stadium, I would have been able to hear you because you were the loudest person by far, and everyone, because the Dodgers hit a home run and it was like 2-0 or 1-0. They were like, "Oh, the World Series is over."
It's
But
because it happened in the first inning.
now,
It kind of took the wind out of the air, but it was also a cold night. No excuses for the fans that night. I think
the World Series. How many people in that building are to get to go to a World Series game again?
it's actually so funny to see that. I probably spoke to about a handful of people that said this is like their 17th World Series. I'm like, congratulations, this is my first. I'm like, I don't get that. I don't get that. That's why for me, I'm like, I'm gonna make the best of it. I don't care till the last pitch.
Yeah.
Right? Alex Verdugo hit a home run in the 9th inning. Remember, it was a 2-run shot. It kind of was 4-0 game. It kind of, just 2 outs. Yeah, it was obviously we lost the game, but I mean, listen, when I'm spending thousands of dollars on a ticket, I'm gonna get the best out of it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I really don't. So, anyways, listen. Yes, that was a disappointing feeling from the fans. I definitely let them know that they need to get off their asses and start rooting, because how else are they supposed to come back if they don't have the crowd behind them, right? So next time it just goes to show you that I got to get better seats, maybe a little closer to the players. Maybe I'll message the Yankees and let them know, hey, listen, I'm the loudest one. You want me back there?
You really were.
I'll start motivating everybody. Get your ass up.
And one more thing, someone asked him, they said, well, let everyone know that Judge isn't using it, and he said, "Judge got over 300 home runs. Ain't no way he's using it." I just thought
I saw that too. Aaron Judge, don't even look at the news. Just keep doing whatever you're doing. You're a special man. We all love you. Without you, I think most of us Yankee fans would probably not know what life's like, truly, because you save us. But thank you for being you, Judge. We love you always. You are you are the closest thing to a living god in terms of Yankee fans. Honestly,
that new dad strength goes stupid.
Oh, it does. It does. Congratulations on that, by the way. Welcoming
100%.
a daughter. It's such a beautiful thing. Let's hope we never have to talk about these torpedo bats again. I honestly never want to have to even mention them. I think that's a stupid name to even call torpedo bats. It's still a fucking baseball bat. Excuse me. We're starting to get a little upset here, and the profanities start coming out. I gotta reel it back, and I don't like to use profanities on this episode. But when we're talking about Yankees and specifically derogatory things about the Yankees, I get a little riled up over here. But on that note, we're not going to be talking about the Yankees on the next segment. And so from there, hopefully my my potty mouth will subside. Final Four. This is exciting. I mean, we're here. 4-1 seeds. They're all there. I mean, There was no Cinderella story. There was no potential, middle pack team getting through there.
No.
You have 4-1 seeds. Auburn is playing. They're going to be taking on. Oh my God, how the hell am I blanking? You got Duke. They're playing Houston. Auburn is playing.
Where are you right now?
That's
Where are you right now?
That's what I was just gonna say. That's why I'm blanking. I'm blanking on the state that we're in, Florida. Florida's in. You know why? Because last time I completely I basically said they're going to be irrelevant against UConn, and that was a good game though. We didn't get into that. That was a great game. UConn versus Florida. I mean, some of the haters say UConn should have won that game. The officiating was terrible. Whatever the case is, nothing's going to change. It's Florida. They won the game. They won the game. Now it's the Final Four. I'm guessing you're going to stick your guns to Florida. I got Auburn. They're playing each other Friday. I think it's 7:00 game, so that'll be a good one to see who gets through. My bracket's completely messed up. I'm not even. I haven't looked over the last week and a half. It was just a complete disaster. I will say
it's going to be a super interesting game. So I think that I'm definitely still Duke champions, fully in on that. But with that Auburn game,
I thought you said Florida.
No, Florida was playing Duke, but I think that there's more likelihood that Auburn beats Florida than Houston beats Duke, which the odds obviously show that too. But I think that the guy Tahad Pettiford is someone who really stood out to me as a big shot maker, clutch guy, one of those little guards who just does not go away. And I feel like he'd be super annoying to, like, if I'm let's say he gets to the NBA next year and he's on like the Rockets and he's just going on a run against the Thunder. He's that guy. It's like, how are you not stopping this guy when he's just getting bucket after bucket after bucket after drawing foul after bucket? So I do still think Florida can beat them, but I think that one will be more of a there's more variety to what I think could happen in that versus I just think that Duke is OD for Houston. I think that even if Houston comes out and punches them in the mouth, I don't think they have the offense to sustain for a whole game. And I think that you'll really see Flag and Proctor just carry Duke to the next round and take cutting the nets down again. But what do you think?
Cooper Flag is going to be an NBA bust. You heard it here first.
What makes you say that?
He's a great collegiate player, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see it unless he gets more athleticism. I don't know, man. I just don't see it in him. I don't see
more athleticism of all of the things. More athleticism. The dude could jump out of the gym. What are you talking about?
It's not enough. Listen, Luka could dunk too.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying in terms of being athletic. I don't know.
I don't know.
I want to hear why for him. You think he's not athletic enough to be in the NBA?
I just don't think the NBA competition to him is going to be too much. I don't think he's going to be able to sustain it. Listen, look at Zachary Risachet. First overall pick sucks. Now, if I'm comparing the two, obviously it's a tough comparison, but
that draft was terrible.
Well, we'll see. 10 years. Remember, 2013 was a terrible draft too. Look how that turned out to be at the time.
But let me just say that before Flag went to Duke, he was practicing with Team USA, and all the real stars of the NBA were saying this guy is going to be a problem.
Maybe I'm just a little biased towards my own people. I just don't think white people can play basketball.
There it is. Well,
Maybe that's what it is. American white boy playing basketball at a high level? I don't know if that's possible.
All right, relax, Stephen A. Smith.
I'm just saying. We'll see.
So
if I'm wrong, I'll be happy that there's a guy that's that good. But if I'm wrong,
let me ask you this: how many games have you watched him play? Like,
I can tell you that I've watched a total of 17 minutes of him playing.
And you
was not athletic at all. I've seen a lot of highlights. Probably a lot more highlights than actual live footage.
Oh man. I need to like clip this and pin it to every profile we have of how wrong you were going to be respectfully.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. He's averaging 19 points per game. I don't know.
Harry likes when people tell him he's wrong.
I don't know.
Insane.
You're wrong.
We'll see. Finally, someone's calling me that, though. It's been a while. I don't think anybody's called me that yet. You got to get it out of somebody. I'm glad it's at least you.
If he gets drafted by the Nets,
How about this? You want to have a little friendly bet? He's not winning Rookie of the Year, that's for sure. I mean, it's a big difference in being a bust, but I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
All right. What's the bet?
If I win,
injury is void.
If I
injury
win,
is void.
Well, okay, fine. Injury. Well, you gotta qualify. Let's call it that, right? If you qualify, you qualify, right?
No qualification, no bet.
No qualification, no bet. If Cooper Flag wins the Rookie of the Year, you can say, Harry, get your ass up to New York. Whenever I tell you, you're gonna get your ass up to New York.
Or
Other way
you could
around.
go vice versa. That if Cooper Flag's Rookie of the Year, you fly me down to film one.
How about that? We'll do that. If Cooper Flag is MVP, I'll fly you down to do an episode. If he's not, I mean, Rookie of the Year. Okay, fine. Rookie of the Year. You caught me there. See, I was trying to get a little edge up there, but it didn't work out. If he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, if he wins Rookie of the Year, I'll fly you down here for an episode. If he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, I'll have to get back to you on the next episode. Remind us, next episode, I'll have a week to think about it. It'll be fun.
You have literally. How about this, Harry? You have until you see what team he's drafted to pick what the return is. So you have a little time. You could think about what the return, like if he's not Rookie of the Year, what it would be.
Oh my God! I hope he gets drafted by the Wizards.
If he's on the Wizards, average 40.
Well, he might be able to average.
But...
Yeah, right. Right. Him and Alex Sarr will be able to have a lot of fun together, I guess. If Alex Sarr, if he's even on the team next year, who even knows at this point. But it's gonna be a good fun. It's gonna be a good Final Four. I mean, they're 4-1 seeds. I mean, let's get back into the reality things here. Florida versus Auburn, Houston versus Duke. It's gonna be great games. I think there'll be close games overall. Yeah. I guess you believe it'll be a Florida versus Duke game. I believe it'll be a Houston versus Auburn game. So completely opposite. I wanted to actually let you know that I had another bracket that I thought I submitted into your Madness group for a Houston championship because I wanted to have a little spice. I don't want my brackets to be identical, but I guess it didn't properly upload. I have the bracket in my ESPN, but it's duplicated. So both of my ESPN brackets are the same, which it wasn't supposed to be, which is Auburn, and it was just busted. And I was like, you know what?
You probably like stopped halfway through the middle and pressed import and imported your.
I don't know. I have no idea. I just don't understand how it did. I could have sworn I did it properly, and then all of a sudden it was like the round of 32 when I uncovered that I didn't do it properly. So it wasn't even the first. For the first round, I thought, oh my God, look at my other brackets looking real good. And then I realized it wasn't even like submitted in. I'm like, it says I have this high percentage, and then I go into the group, it says I have a lower percentage. I'm like, something is wrong here. I couldn't tell until the 32nd round, but I'll have to pay attention better. It's not like I'm an amateur at doing this. I'm a 2012 champion of our sports marketing class in high school. So, I gotta live up to the 2012 hype when I won it.
What was our restaurant called? Bellissimo?
Bellissimo? What?
Didn't we make like a restaurant or something? Like you and Cameron and someone else? Maybe it wasn't you. And it was in that class for sure. I thought it was all of us.
In sports marketing, we made a restaurant?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't sports marketing. It was definitely some sort of marketing. But what's it called? We'll transition to the questions. I know Lindsay asked about the torpedo bat, so we knew that was being discussed. So it's nice to check two off of the box in one episode. So without further ado, here's Mr. Benjamin.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Sorry for
Ben's
that.
a chain smoker for our whole chat. Didn't know.
Oh my God.
Smokes 2.5 packs a day.
No, I don't.
Good for you. Good for you. Congrats. Honestly, that's very difficult to do. I wouldn't. Most people can't do that.
So it just logged me out to ask the question. So if we can just talk for one moment.
Okay, so this is what we call technical difficulties where we're having right now.
That's how Mary thinks of the word will be.
It's like elevator music. Let's put da 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 da.
All right, and we're back.
We're back.
And we are back. Thank you so much for that. All right, so
I was about to swan dive into the ball.
All right, so we got our good old boy Matt. Oh, I love our Matt questions. All right. Man,
He's got to come with me. Can he be part of the Cooper Flag bet?
This is bets between you and I.
That's actually not for like a year and a half, so forget that.
All right, so Matt says, man, you guys really out here roasting the White Sox. In my opinion, I think the Angels are a bigger dumpster fire. Which team do you think is the furthest away from a World Series? I would say Angels, big contracts, no pitching, and only player worth value can't stay healthy. Trout.
Matt, you're absolutely correct. The Angels are the biggest dumpster fire in baseball. I mean, they're terrible. They're terrible.
Say that one more time for me. Say that one more time.
Terrible. From the great Charles Barkley, the way he says it, he's terrible. Terrible. That's a Southern way to say he's terrible. But anyways, I mean, yes. First of all,
Auburn guy.
I want to clarify something here, Matt. I'm not the one who was bashing the White Sox. Josh bashed the White Sox, and I wanted to make sure we gave them their little time due on their last episode.
Well, let me just make sure. I was bashing the 2025 White Sox, not their future, the 2025 White Sox.
Well, I think it's safe to say that, even just on a small sample size, 4 or 5 games into the season, I think the White Sox are a better team than the Angels are.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like I've actually seen every time I've looked and seen the Angels were winning a game, within like 20 minutes they were losing, and it happened like 3 times in the same game.
They have a terrible roster.
They are ass, but I do think there's one team that's more of a dumpster fire than them.
White
Colorado
Sox.
Rockies.
Oh.
Because
in that division, it's a tough division. It really is.
Exactly, because I feel like the Rockies just, there's no way for them to gain any traction because they could legitimately lose 115 games every year. I mean, I don't know. They just have to one year just go on a spending spree and just, I mean, obviously it's hard to justify when the year before and the year before there haven't been any results, or build a freaking dome.
Well, yes. I was just going to get to that. I mean, you have to do something about the fact that pitchers don't want to play in Colorado. So it's going to be very difficult to get, spend even commit $50 million to your rotation when you've had one guy who's been like a staple throughout, Kyle Freeland. Kudos to that man, because he's actually had a pretty good career considering it's been in Colorado for the whole thing, basically. It's, it goes back to show that I'm going to bring back a fun name that we haven't heard in a while, probably. And he was one of the greatest pitchers 10, 12 years ago, Ubaldo Jimenez. I mean, the fact that guy was an ace, a Cy Young winner with the Rockies. Yeah. It's not an easy thing. So if you're able to do that, it just goes to show you what kind of pitcher you could have been if he had a longer, without any of those injuries that he had to deal with.
And then he should have, when he was done playing, he should have become everyone's pitching coach there. Just how did you do it this year?
So I think if there's any investors out there who are like, listen, we got to change the aspect of the Rockies, it's just not going to happen over the next 5 years, because I think people who are investors are going to say that division is a tough place to go and invest money into right now. I got to go and commit, billions, potentially build out a stadium or a dome at least, so that the elevation of the air is not affecting how you could make anybody over there a home run caliber guy. I mean, you could send off Sean Figgins and he would hit 20 home runs there in a year, right? The guy had no power. Ichiro would be a 20 home run hitter in Colorado, just because he's such a great contact hitter. The ball would drive. Can you imagine if Aaron Judge played for the Rockies or played 100 or 81 games in Colorado? Can you imagine?
He'd have 65 home runs.
Right, and it even shows you, like, even more recent, some of these offensive guys, like Nolan Arenado, how great he was in Colorado offensively versus now in St. Louis. Nolan Arenado is a great player, in and out. Don't get me wrong, I love Arenado, but it just shows you there's a big difference when you're in Colorado for offense and pitching side. It's a big difference. I mean, going back to these dumpster fire teams that we're kind of getting into right now, I think Chicago has the best future because they have some great prospects that over the course of the next 3 to 4 years, they can start calling up in a division that is much more realistic for a team to go and make a run at, right? I think in the West, in the AL West at least, the Houston Astros are still a relevant team. The Mariners seem like a team that's going to at least hold down that division for the time being. And, you never know with these Texas Rangers, what they're going to end up doing as well. So, yes, they can make some biggest wild card. Right. I mean, the Angels are an LA market team. If they had the right people around them, maybe if they figured things out and weren't giving out such bad contracts, they would figure it out. It's just a really tough situation. If I had to rate it, I think I mean, I have to think about Colorado for a second. I mean, the truth is, I think they have a better farm system than the Angels do. The Angels are just a real dumpster fire.
Colorado
But
has
at the end of the day, LA is a
got
market. You know, LA is a place that you could convince someone to go play versus Colorado.
Well, how about this? Don't look at it like you're looking to buy the team and get a return on investment. Look just in terms of the the furthest away, like Matt said, the furthest away from a World Series. Like not in terms of the market, not in terms of anything like that. Just which team, when you look at all their baseball assets, is the furthest. And I honestly think it
Considering
could be a
weather is
tie.
playing a
It's
factor,
hard to say.
I think the weather factor makes it the Rockies.
Yeah,
Because I don't know
and
how
the
they
fact
expect
that
to win a World Series that they've never won in a place where the weather really affects the game. You know, there's no other place like this in baseball where there's a big difference in, you know, the level of play here as it does in Colorado and Coors Field. So on that note, they need to have, you know, a dome there. If, let's say, like, the truth is, if going into next year, obviously nothing's going to be done here, but in 2026, if they put a dome on the stadium, say we're putting a dome here, my answer would be the Angels.
yeah, because they do have like a mega Chase Dollander is like a Garrett Cole like twin. I don't know if you've ever seen him pitch, but he looks just like him and throws like the same pitches. But
I've seen clips,
I have a feeling that an
but
investor is going to come along and say that they're going to try and move the Rockies to like Portland or like somewhere else out west. I don't love it.
I don't love it either. I feel like
just
the Rockies are one of those staple teams for some reason. Like the Coors Field is like a really first of all, Coors Field is a great stadium.
Beautiful. I've been there, and
Yeah.
the fans are so loyal. It's nothing like that. They fill it up when even when they're halfway decent. I just think that the league might
And they got some cool jerseys.
consider it. Yeah, especially on the no sleeves ones. But I think the league may look at it if someone comes and makes that proposal, and as opposed to making an expansion team and saying, "Look, this is a market we could try and explore." If someone comes in and says, "We're going to start a team from scratch with a dome." Coors Field's great. The Rockies vibes are great for how bad they've been, but I just think that I don't think the league would necessarily say no. You know,
It's true. I mean, you might even be able to throw a team like the Tampa Bay Rays in there too, because they're a team that always like has an overturn method, right? Every few years they're overhauling these players. But I don't want to get into the Tampa Bay Rays. They're definitely not in that. They're not worse off than those other three teams, in my opinion. I think whoever knows, like they've made it to the World Series twice in the last 15 years, so they're at least way further along.
Yeah. For me, I just want to say about the Rays, and then we can kind of put a bow on that. Is that I would think that they would move to either Nashville or Orlando because I think they would try and keep it east as opposed to moving them across because I think that Nashville would be the most likely to get a team, but I don't think they'd bring the Rockies out east and have them play in the NL West.
Nashville is definitely a destination that needs a baseball team. In my opinion, I think whenever I think of a city that needs a baseball team, Nashville is one of those cities that, in my opinion, that really needs one. But yeah, let's wrap it up there. I mean, on that note, though, quickly, who is your team that's furthest away? Mine is the Rockies, just because of the weather.
Yeah, for me, it's the Rockies, and I feel like it's not really much. There isn't really much doubt to it because number one, the division is loaded, and I think that no matter what, the Dodgers would always be in their way, as well as I think if you look at the whole scope of it, that the Angels in the West, I mean, I don't really think that anyone ever really dominates that division. So you just need to get a couple good players one year and get hot, and then make trades in July. Debatable if they have the willingness to do that, but yeah, I'd say the Rockies, and I think it's a pretty wide margin, and it's unfortunate because their fan base really is loyal if they have half a solid team. But yeah,
Well, hopefully one of those teams figures it out. I think it'll be the White Sox most likely because of that farm system that they have. At least it's a little bit more promising. But I think we have another question from Matt because he wanted to redeem himself for last week.
We do. I'm just writing that down because I like that as almost a clip. So hold on one second.
Oh yeah.
Ben's putting in that work right there. I see him all over the place. I was looking. I was like, "What is this guy doing?" He's like leaning this way, then going this way. I'm
Well,
like,
yeah,
what
because I have so many things. I have the questions up here. I have to write the notes down over on this one.
If we could flip this and they could see what you got on your side right now, I mean, it'd be scary. Because I just started getting used to it. Yeah, I just started getting used to this, like seeing the workstation that you have. But the first 6 months coming in here, I was like, I didn't even want to make eye contact with your workstation. It was
I had an intern
scary.
come in once, and he sat next to me. He's like, "How are you doing recording, writing notes, and like switching back and forth?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't even know."
When you got 17 screens in front of you, that's how.
Yeah.
My boy's in the right field.
Yes. I know exactly. It's like since I'm a musician, I play drums, right? This is like kind of like the same thing, right? Just playing, touching, poking.
I guess
typing.
they all do different things, right? So different sounds.
Exactly. All right. So Matt goes ahead and says, "This is for you, Harry." He says specifically, Harry. Ooh, that wasn't sorry. Harry, I apologize for missing a question last week. To make up for it, here's a bonus question. Do you guys think international expansion teams in MLB or NFL are coming before domestic?
Probably not. I think we'll have a domestic team, just like we were just talking about. The Nashville might be a team that comes first. I think we'll see another expansion domestic. I'm not saying we're not going to see one soon enough internationally. It just makes more sense, at least from what I'm seeing. Expansion in the MLB will be happening domestically first before it hits overseas. NFL, maybe you get another team that will be an international team, but I don't see that happening sooner than later. I think we'll see an MLB domestic team first.
I think the logistics of how many baseball games there are and how much and how long the season is to have that huge flight overseas in the middle of a year and not have like a week off would just be too much. I think that the NFL, I think it's fairly likely that will happen in I'd say 10 years where it gets really established to get one overseas. I know the Jags owner wants to move them, but they also have a really nice complex over there, so I don't know what the plan is, but I would say the NFL I'd probably say an NFL international expansion would be over a domestic one because I don't really see them expanding within the United States again, but I could be wrong, but I just think that if they were to expand, it just makes sense to hit a totally untapped market versus where no matter where you go, there's sections of places that are fans of teams now. So I don't know if you'd necessarily get the immediate response that you would be looking for.
So you're saying you think an international NFL team would come before a domestic MLB team?
I think that I don't know it was a comparison between the two leagues. For me, the NFL it would come international before domestic. For baseball, I think the logistics of it leaving United States, Mexico, Canada are just too hard. I don't think it would happen.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. It's very difficult to incorporate the logistics of an MLB team overseas. That's for sure too. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's fun to hear the talks because we haven't seen an expansion in either sport in a long time. So it'll be a lot of fun to see. And well, obviously, I mean that'll be probably like a full month of just going over all the stuff that comes out, whether or not there's something officially happening with an additional team coming to the MLB or the NFL. But Matt, thank you for the double up this week. We really appreciate it. Always appreciate all your questions. You got some great ones. We're going to get into the rapid fire. We didn't do it last week. It's fun. We got to get that clock up.
Let's do it.
That 60-second clock. This time I'm going to be asking Josh, and we got a few good ones. Hopefully, I don't stump you on some of these too. So whenever I see that clock, Ben will go 3, 2, 1 action, and I'll start.
3, 2, got a minute on the clock.
Commanders host a private workout with a kicker.
Cool.
Nikola Jokic, 61 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists.
Second place.
Joel Embiid, knee is being scoped, officially out for the rest of the season.
Just retire.
Ketel Marte extension, 6 years, $116.5 million.
Well deserved.
It's 2 words, but okay. Sean
These have all been
Manaya's
2 words so far.
Sean Manaya's setback.
Tough.
The overall feeling you get when we are about to record our episodes. Oh no, you got to do that again. No.
It's too loud. It's not going to pick up.
You got too many vocals. It's just like going the pitch is just way too high there. Nobody was able to hear that scream, but I could only imagine how loud
Did
it
you hear
was.
the third and the fourth one? Like
No, none of them. None of them.
Wow.
The pitch was just, you got some crazy pitch going on over there. It's going to be crazy. But hopefully our fans
How
can
about that?
envision, that I did hear, hopefully the fans can envision how much excitement that was, because I could feel it. I felt it every time you tried to do or you did it and we couldn't really hear it. But I felt it. And it was, you know, it is a nice feeling, right? When we get to come in here on a Wednesday during the earlier evening and start a nice record session.
It was either between that or
I'm glad you picked the former, because that one might have been a little bit different noise that some people might not have thought would have been, you know, correlating of the two. But
get your
hey,
mind out the gutter, bro.
listen,
Get your mind out the gutter, bro. I'm a married man.
What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
Well, you know, listen, I love doing the recordings with you. I love it when we get interactions with some of our greatest fans. You guys really do a lot of great things for us. We really do appreciate all the amazing commentary we get. And we wouldn't be here without you guys. I mean, Josh and I do have a lot of fun doing this at the end of the day. Coming out here and getting all the reactions we get from you guys is part of the reason we are here. We love it. We love hearing some of our close friends, some people that we weren't, you know, so close with before, starting to listen in and give us their reactions. So we really much appreciate it. Let's not forget our you know, famous part of the show. We're recapping some of our older Yogiisms. Josh, scale of 1 to 10. What do you think about this one? The future ain't what it used to be.
I'm pretty sure you did that one like 2 weeks ago. And I think I gave it a 9.
Impossible.
But either way, it'll get a 9.
Well, then if that's the case, if you're so
classic.
We made too many wrong mistakes. We gotta go double it up. Since Matt doubled up the questions, we'll double up the Yogiisms.
I like the first one better. I'll give that one a soft 8, a hard 7.
All right. Well, can't love them all, but still pretty good rating, right? I mean, if Dave Portnoy gave a 7 point something on a pizza, people would go flock there. So still a great Yogiism. We love Yogi, you know, Yankee legend. But thank you guys so much. And Josh, let everybody know, remind everybody where they can find us again on what social media platforms.
Yeah, first big shout out to Ivan Herrera, 3 home run game for my fantasy team on the St. Louis Cardinals today. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and don't forget to follow that Instagram.
Thank you guys again for tuning into this episode of Beyond the Score next week. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys then.